Hello class, today we're writing equations from tables or graphs. So your essential question is, how do I write linear equations from graphs and tables and graphs? Your learning intention, I'm learning to write equations from tables or graphs. You've got 3 warm-up questions. The first 2 are finding the slope, and the third one is using the quadratic formula again. Pause the video and see if you know how to do these on your own. Well, I do hope you tried. So, first one is the slope between these 2 points. Remember our formula for slope? The change in y divided by the change in x. So, we've got xy, xy. You can start with either point. It doesn't matter because you'll still get the same slope. So if I start with the first one and go to the second one, it's -4 minus 1 over -5 minus -10. Okay, you don't minus the negative, you add the positive. -4 minus 1 more is -5. -5 plus 10, 10 minus 5 is +5. So my slope ends up being -1. -5 divided by 5 is -1. On graphs, we're always looking at rise over run. We've got to create that right triangle. So I've got a point here where it intersects and then another one up here. There's my right triangle. When I count up, it's up 1, 2, 3, 4. So it rises 4, and then it runs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're done. Okay, we're continuing to work on the quadratic formula because a lot of you still struggle with the formula itself. Step 1 is to always identify A, B, and C. Okay, so A is equal to 2, B is equal to 6, C is equal to -9. Now we find our discriminant. That is that B squared minus 4AC. So it's 6 squared minus 4 times 2 times -9. For the discriminant, I use my calculator because the numbers can get pretty big at times. So 6 squared minus 4 times 2 times -9 gives me 108. Now I know that 108 is not a perfect square. So when I square root it, I've got to simplify that radical. So I'll do my ladder division and find out what the prime factorization is. So 108 is divisible by 2, I get 54. 54 is divisible by 2, I get 27. 27 is not divisible by 2, but 2 plus 7 is 9. I know it's divisible by 3 and by 9. Divide by 3, I get 9. Divide by 3, I get 3. Divide by 3, I get 1. When you get 1, you are done. So I've got a pair of 2's and a pair of 3's. and then I've got a 3 left over. So this is 2 times 3 square root of 3, which is equal to 6 square root of 3. Okay, now, as we look at this, we're now ready to use the other numbers. We have a opposite of b plus or minus to the square root we just found divided by 2a. The opposite of b. b is 6. The opposite is negative 6. Plus or minus 6 square root of 3 all over 2 times 2. Do I have any common factors? Yes, I can divide out 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. 6 divided by 2 is positive 3. Now let's wrap this up. Negative 3 plus or minus 3 square root of 3 divided by 2 is our answer. Because radical 3 or the square root of 3 is irrational, we can't go any further. Okay, so for some reason I ended up with a glitch here. That's okay, I'll fix it on the main one. But you're looking at two different types of linear equations. We're looking at the point slope, which is y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. And the other one is the y equals mx plus b form. Okay, now we're going to find our slope. We're going to look at our delta x and our delta y. Okay, so when I'm looking here, what 3 plus what gives me 6? Plus 3. So my delta y is plus 3. 6 plus 3 is 9, 9 plus 3 is 12, 12 plus 3 is 15. On the other side, what do I add to negative 1 to get to 0? This is a positive 1. So my slope is 3. 3 divided by 1 is 3. So for the first one, I pick any of the points. It doesn't matter which points I pick. So for the first one, I am going to use the point 1 and 9. Y minus 9 is equal to 3 times the quantity of x minus 1. Do I need to simplify anything? No, I'm done. For the second one, we actually have to look and see where x is equal to 0. This is our y-intercept. So, y is equal to 3x plus 6 is it in y-intercept form. And we're done. Going to underline this so you know that these two go together. And I will underline the point slope form with yellow so you know that these two, that's where it came from. Okay, we have another table. So as we're looking at this, what's the first step? Well, we've got to find our slope. Okay, so I'm going from -3 to -1, but I go from 0 to -8. 0 plus what gives me -8? Well, that would be -8. So my top number is -8. At the same time, I'm going from -3 to +1. -3 plus what gives me -1? This is +2. Okay, simplify. -8 divided by 2 is -4, so my slope is -4. Okay, for my point slope form, I'm going to pick any two numbers. I think that I will just pick these two. No special reason, I just did. So this becomes y minus -16 is equal to -4 times the quantity of x minus 1. Can I leave it the way it is? No, you never minus this negative, you always plus the positive. So this is y plus 16 is equal to -4 times the quantity of x minus 1. Now, to find the y-intercept, because it's not there, we don't have it when x is equal to 0 what it is. But we can easily figure it out if we come to the middle. We know that this is where the 0 would be. And we're also halfway between -8 and -16. Because 0 is halfway between -1 and +1. So we're going down by 4 each time. -8 plus -4 is -12. We're ready to finish it up. Y is equal to -4x minus 12. So, when you're using tables, there's different ways to get the correct answer, but you always have to find your slope first. For the point slope form, you just pick a set of points, one point out of them, and you substitute those values in for x and y. For the slope intercept form, you've got to know where x is equal to 0, or you could actually take your point slope form and solve it for y, which means you would distribute the -4, so it'd be -4x plus 4, and then you'd subtract the 16 from both sides, and you would get the same equation. When we're looking at graphs, we normally will look at the slope-intercept form. So the first thing you still have to do is to find that slope. So if I'm looking, I've got these 2 points identified. So I'm going up 1, 2, I'm going right 1. Okay, my y-intercept. This is my y-intercept. This is my b. This is 1, 2, 3. That's where you find your b. It's where the y-intercept is. When you put it all together, y is equal to 2x plus 3, and you're done. For the next one, you still have to find that slope first. So if I'm looking, I've got the points identified. This goes down 1, 2, it goes right 1. My y-intercept is here. This is my b value. Now I put it all together. Y equals negative 2x plus 5, and we're done. For the next one, this time we're going to do point slope form. And you realize that you can use different points, so the equations could look different. But you still have to find your slope first, and you have to identify one point. So if I'm looking at my slope, I've got a point identified here. I go down, and here's my right triangle. I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's negative 5 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I have to identify a point that's on the graph. I don't want to use this one because that will give me my slope-intercept form. So I'm going to use this point over here, which is negative 1, 2, 3. And then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So y minus negative 3 is equal to negative 5 over 4 times x minus 4. Am I done? Almost. Plus the positive here. And this equation is y plus 3 is equal to negative 5 over 4 times x minus 4. Okay, for the next one, we have to determine where a second point is. It gives us the y-intercept, but if we're looking, we've got to go clear down here for another point where it intersects the corner of a box. So this is our right triangle. I go up 1, 2, 3. I go right 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, we're counting those boxes. Okay, so as I'm looking, up here is another point that would be on the graph. This point is the point 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to use the point 4, 4. That way I'll be done when I plug it in. Y minus 4 is equal to 3/4 of x minus 4, and that is the equation. I could have used negative 4, negative 2, and then it would have been x plus 4 is equal to 3/4 of x plus 2. Would have been the same equation, it just looks different. If you converted it into y-intercept form, it would be exactly the same. So I'm getting ready to write the equation of a line. What are the two things you must know or find to write the equation of a line? Well, you have to find the slope. So it's the slope of the line. And a point. Or, if you know 2 points, you can find everything else. So, if you know 2 points, you find the slope, and then you substitute a point in to find the y-intercept. If you are looking at a graph, you can find the slope of the line and then find a point on it, which the point could be the y-intercept, but would not have to be. So, there's different ways to do it, but you have to know 2 things to be able to write the equation of a line. So how do you know when you're successful? You're successful when you can write the equation of a line from tables or graphs. We're writing linear equations.